So guys, I'm not one to post different types of games here on my channel. Obviously you guys are, used to seeing me post Call of Duty videos, and do not worry, I'm still a Call of Duty channel. I still will, mainly be posting Call of Duty, from here on out. I just want to make an exception for this game because ever since I got my hands on this beta for Star Wars Battlefront 2, I've been dying to share some of my thoughts with you guys about this game. I've logged about 10 to 12 hours, maybe even a little bit more, playing this beta, and I gotta say, I've been absolutely having a blast playing this game. Now keep in mind, when it comes to Star Wars, I pretty much nerd out, so if I'm playing anything or watching anything related to Star Wars, I'm usually going to enjoy it majority of the time. Even Battlefront 1 back in 2015 is a game I still play to this day because it's still Star Wars, which means I'm going to enjoy it. Now I can agree with a lot of people on how that game did not live up to the hype. I mean, there were so many things wrong with that game, but I'm happy to say in Star Wars Battlefront 2, most of the problems that were in Battlefront 1 are now fixed for Battlefront 2. Out of all three modes, Galactic Assault, Strike, and Starfighter Assault, my favorite mode in the beta is Strike. It's a smaller mode with 16 players altogether, and I absolutely love it. It's hectic, fast, and fun. The map offered in the beta for this mode is Takodana, which is also Maz's castle from The Force Awakens, but half the map is indoors and the other half is outside. Let's just start off by saying everything looks identical to the movie, whether it's the entrance to the castle or downstairs where Rey actually had her vision in The Force Awakens. The detail is absolutely crazy, and it's almost like they plucked it right out of, the movie. The only grief I had with the mode Strike is that if you're playing as the First Order, it almost seems impossible to win. You see, the objective as the First Order when you're playing the mode Strike is to go to Maz's castle, get the artifact, and deliver it to, the delivery point. But the problem is that so many resistance soldiers spawn right in front of you that it's almost impossible just to get to delivery point. It just seems like the resistance soldiers are always spawning in front of you, which makes it very, very hard just to get to, the other side of the map where the delivery point actually is. I'm sure they're going to adjust this for the full game because I'm pretty sure a lot of people started complaining, but other than that, I really enjoy Strike, and I can't wait to play the mode with other maps during the actual launch of this game. I also had a ton of fun playing Galactic Assault as well. It's a 40-player mode where the objectives are constantly shifting. Controlling a battle droid was probably one of the best experiences I've had in that mode. I mean, just listen to some of the stuff they say.
Good luck, turret!
They're so funny, just like they were in the movies, which makes the whole Star Wars experience in Star Wars Battlefront that much better while you're playing as a droid. The mode itself was very, very balanced. I would say 50% of the time I was running as droids, and the other half was, clones. It didn't matter who you were playing as or what side you're on. It was always a fair fight, which made the mode a lot more enjoyable, when starting a match. I also had a lot of fun controlling the clones too. Now, don't get me wrong, the droids are probably a little bit more fun to play as, but the clones are also pretty cool too. The objective of the mode as clones is to defend the Naboo palace from the droids. So you want to stop the droids from actually getting to the palace. Half the match is outside and the other half is spent inside the Naboo palace. And I've already said this before, but the detail is absolutely incredible. It looks just like the movie, which makes the whole Battlefront experience just a whole lot better. But the best thing that they brought to Battlefront 2 is a new point system that is called Battle Points. Battle Points replaces the pickup card system that was in Battlefront 1 that everyone absolutely hated, including myself. Now players are able to spend their battle points to play as jet troopers, Jedis, heroes, B2 droids, Wookiees, and even aircrafts, and there's a whole lot more than just that. However much score you get is how much battle points you have. The best thing about battle points though is when your team gets a Jedi, or like one of your players gets a Jedi, you know it's one of your best players because he had to earn it. In Battlefront 1 it was completely random and any player could get it. It didn't matter how good you're doing, it didn't matter how bad you're doing. You'd be going 0 and 100 and you could still get a Jedi in Battlefront 1. But in Battlefront 2 everything has to be earned, which is why it's a lot better. If you're doing good and you're playing objective, you will be rewarded. If you're doing bad and you're just not doing anything, you won't get anything, and that's how it should be. The whole point system was definitely needed, and I'm glad they added this. It's a great addition to Battlefront 2. Moving on to the created class system. Now, this has also been changed in Battlefront. There's now 4 classes you can now pick from. There's Assault, Heavy, Officer, and Specialist. Assault is mostly, people who like to rush. Heavy is LMGs. Officer is more of a defending class. And Specialist is for sniping. Players can now fit their playstyle, according to what they want to play. If you want to be a sniper, you can pick Specialist, and you can pick cards that, will help you snipe. It's a lot better. In Battlefront 1, we didn't have anything like this. All you did was pick a gun, 3 cards. It didn't matter what cards they were because you didn't really have much customization to begin with, and you'd be done. In Battlefront 2, there's specific cards to each class that you can only unlock with that class, and there's just a lot more customization overall. There's even attachments in this game. All you have to do is get credits just by playing the game each day and just doing good, obviously, and you will get credits, and then you can actually craft attachments for your weapons. We didn't have attachments in Battlefront 1, but we now have them in Battlefront 2. The whole created class system in this game reminds me a lot of Divisions in Call of Duty World War II. You pick a class that fits your playstyle, and then you can customize that class to fit your needs. I mean, it's just a lot better, and it's just a lot more customization offered to players. Another thing I'm very happy that they decided to do is take out the partner spawning in this game. In Battlefront 1, you were able to, spawn on your friend if you're playing with a friend, and you could spawn no matter, where they were. They could be in enemy lines, and you could still spawn next to him. This made it really unfair sometimes because you'd be shooting an enemy, and then all of a sudden, you just see a guy spawning right next to him, and that's just completely unfair. So I'm definitely, glad that they took this out of the game because it just made the whole game feel very unbalanced. Now they actually have set spawns, so when you die, you spawn like in a set spawn. It's not where you just spawn next to someone. It's actually in a, set spawn like Call of Duty. The next thing I want to get into is something that a lot of people want to hear about, and that's, how did the heroes play out and how do they perform? The heroes in this game seem to be a lot more strategic than they were in Battlefront 1. In Battlefront 1, it felt like they were designed for you to just run around like a chicken with its head cut off and just try to kill as many enemies as you can. But in this game, I feel like you have to use your abilities a lot more strategic than you would in Battlefront 1. For instance, Ray does have an ability where you can confuse your enemies and they won't be able to shoot their weapons. I like to use this mode when there is a lot of enemies, mobbed together, so my teammates could take them out instead of me going into all the action and probably getting shot because I am a big target. Even Darth Maul can't even block in this game, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I actually think it's kind of cool that they're being a little bit more strategic with these heroes, and they're making players, think a little bit before they actually run around with the heroes. But with Darth Maul, since he can't block, I like to play corners and use my abilities as best as I can, so I wouldn't have to go in the open as much. The last thing I want to talk about is the sound and the music that they have in this game. Obviously, it's all Star Wars music, but it's a great addition to when you're playing. Whether it's Rey's theme playing when you're first spawning in with her, or when your team gets past an objective, the music felt like it was dead on, and it honestly feels like you're in Star Wars. But guys, in conclusion, I would definitely buy this game. I would definitely pre-order it as well because you are going to get a lot of cool content like the Last Jedi skins for the heroes. If you are excited for the Last Jedi, you will probably like this game because all 3 eras are actually in this game. You have the prequels, you have, the original, and then you have the new era with the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. So you're going to be able to play all 3 eras, and the gameplay is just fantastic. It will give you that Star Wars experience, and I know if you are a Star Wars fan, you will appreciate this game a lot. And there's a lot more content in this game than the first one, so you won't get bored after an hour of playing it. You have a lot to work towards, a lot to grind towards, a lot of leveling up, just a lot more customization overall. This was the game that we wanted back in 2015, and I don't understand, why Battlefront 1 was the way it was, but, it's already in the past, but now we have a fresh new Star Wars game that I think every single Star Wars fan will appreciate in some way. But guys, I hope my review did help you guys decide whether or not you want to consider buying this game or pre-ordering it. I personally really enjoyed the game. I do already have it pre-ordered, and I will be playing it once it comes out on November 17th. But guys, if you enjoyed the video in any way, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel and you want to stay with everything like Call of Duty, make sure you subscribe. But guys, this has been the Miniature King. Peace out, everyone.